All right, problem 2.2, part 1, define and label the variables. This is my desktop. You'll be looking at your desktop on campus somewhere in one of the computer labs. I'm just going to go to Start and SPSS. Select SPSS from all the programs. My desktop is really junky. My wife and I share this computer, so we have a lot of stuff on here. And because I work with SPSS and my wife does as well, our opening window may be a bit different from yours. And so as you open SPSS and wait, as you may have to, I remind you not to worry about this kind of stuff here. Okay, so we're just going to click. If something like that pops up, exit out. And you shouldn't have this. Neither should I. So one of the first things that I'm going to do is I'm going to use a different means to switch between the variable view and the data view. Now, your default view will be your variable view. How will you know that you're in a variable view? Well, you'll see name, type, with decimals, etc. up here. Then, because now this is how we understand our variables. To switch, I'm going to use view and data, or I can also use Control T. So you don't have to do this in this lesson. I'm just going to do this to show you the difference. So I'm going to look at the data now. So now this is our data view. This is where the data would be displayed. We see our variables at the top, but they're all grayed out because we haven't defined our variables. And these cells are all empty because we have no data. Okay, so this is our data view. All of the variables, the names of each variable would be at the top. The variable view will have information about the variable at the top. So I'm going to go to View, Variables, or I could use Control T to switch. This is where we should be. And if you're following along with the reading, or if you've already done this and you're just making sure you did it correctly, you should see name, type, width, etc. up here. So you're in the right place if you see this. If you're not, Control T, or use the bottom left and click on Variable View, the tab labeled Variable View. So the first thing they want us to do is they want us to type in recommend. Now what does that mean? It doesn't mean anything. You hit recommend and then you hit enter, or you can click outside of that cell and all of these default values pop up. This simply tells us that the data for this variable will be numeric, that it will be 8 characters wide, that will have 2 decimal points, and we'll be dealing with label in a second. Okay, but the first thing that I want to do is show you the difference now. So I'm going to go to View, Data, or Control T, or you can use the bottom tab and click on Data View. And look, now we have a variable because we just defined a variable, but we don't have any data. Okay, so this time I'm going to use Control T to go back to our variable view, or I could have used that or the bottom tab. So here we are in our variable view. The next task being asked of us, and if I yell it's because my dog is trying to play catch with me while I'm sitting at the computer because she's a real pushy little dog. Alright, so labels. I recommend course. So now this label explains to us what this abbreviated variable name means. I recommend course. Our next task is really simple. We're going to select the cell under values, and we're going to select the little box with the 3 dots. And so now we're going to, as the text tells us to do, hit 1 here, and then type strongly, Lord of mercy, and hit add. And then next task, and then OK. So now what we've done is we've defined the variable. This is a name. We've labeled it, and then we've described our values.